No.
Okay. Well, I've started to record, so
Okay.
we can just go ahead and get started.
Does anyone know if like the people in the waiting room will pop up my screen, or will I have to?
It will show at the very top.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, welcome, guys. Thank you guys for coming to this next meeting. I realize the date on this thing is wrong, Ashton. It's not August 7th, but yeah, okay. So for today's meeting, we're gonna go over the finalized workshops that we're going to be conducting this
Spring semester. Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about scheduling, curriculum, activity planning, and actually go through an entire past workshop that we think is a good example to use as a benchmark for building your guys' workshops. We'll also be discussing groups. We haven't exactly got those formed yet, but we'll have that to you by tomorrow or the day after at latest. And then we'll go over the meeting scheduling at the end. Okay. Ashton?
So in terms of scheduling, we thought about this quite a bit based on what went well and what didn't go well. Pretty much the past semester and over the summer and last year itself. So what we've decided is that for each workshop, of course, with an exception for like the calculus workshop with Steven and the specialized computer science workshop, is that you honestly can really have four individual workshops in one workshop series. So what I mean by that, it's pretty self-explanatory, but like 4 individual sessions per like an entire, series, right? And can you go back actually?
Oh,
Yeah, just have it like 1 per week, because and then we're gonna have 3 separate topics going per month, and I'll talk a little bit more about that on each slide. And the reason we're having this is essentially, the thing is, when you look at who's signing up for what, people are signing up for multiple workshops at the same time. And like starting at the very beginning, if we're having people signing up for 6 different workshops in 1 month, they're going to get tired of it. They're not going to come back, and that's just going to not work well for us. Also, people won't pay attention past 45 minutes. We've done this so many times. Anything after 45 minutes, it's just garbage time after that. Like it just doesn't work, right? 1 workshop per week. Again, if you do really more than that, considering a lot of these people are going to be going to all of the 3 workshops in 1 month. So 3 different workshops. Essentially, that means they'll be going to 3 different workshops per week. They're gonna get to start to get tired. So that's kind of the limit we're keeping it at. You guys will have to figure out days and times for your workshop in terms of like the scheduling. For example, like Tuesdays at 6 p.m. or something like that, right? But that's something you guys, once we put you guys into the actual groups, you guys can decide amongst yourselves, and then we'll have a Google Calendar and everything to schedule that. So yeah.
So to help you guys kind of visualize that whole situation, we kind of did this a little bit last time, but I just want to reiterate. The way it's going to work is for the months of March, April, and May, there will be 3 separate workshop topics. And each of these workshops, like Ashton said, will have, each of these workshop series will have 1 individual workshop each week. So that ends up being around 4 workshops per topic. And then we'll just be cycling through those different topics as the months go on. And each of you guys will be would be put into a group for that specific topic, if that makes sense, right? Okay. If you have any questions, please don't wait till the end. Just type in the chat or just speak up.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
I do want to add. So what this essentially means is when you're looking at it, people who are sign up for the specialized CS debate or like Steven's mini calculus, that means you're gonna have to like 100% have everything ready and complete by March, right? Of course, for workshops in May, like machine learning, medicine, and environment, you have a little bit more time, but that's no excuse. If your workshop is in May, that means you have a lot more time to prepare and get your stuff to the highest quality, right? Of course, that doesn't mean if your workshop is in March, then you don't have it at good quality. But when you're looking at this, we're essentially creating a service. Yes, it might be free. Yes, it's like this community educational platform. But at the end of the day, we're creating this service and we're giving it out to real people, real customers. So you want to make sure it's at the highest quality, no matter like where you are in the schedule.
Yeah. So one other thing is that we do we do want you guys to know that your spot in Teach to Learn is not a guaranteed, right? It's something that's based on your merit, something that is monitored. So if you're not pulling your weight, we already are kind of running over on how many mentors we want to have. So it's not a problem for us to essentially say, okay, you're not pulling your weight, we don't need you. So make sure you guys are.
That's a little bit harsh,
It's
but
a bit harsh,
yeah.
but make sure you guys are, doing what you need to be doing for your guys', because like we said before, these are real people who are investing their time in a real organization. We're not a school club, we're an actual organization. So yeah, just keep that in mind. We're trying to keep each workshop to 4 mentors, five at most. So keep that in mind. And Ashton, can you type this in the can you put this in the Zoom chat real quick?
Yeah, I did. So what this link is, you know how I had you mentors sign the form or fill in the form last week with like what you would be interested in. So a little mistake by me is that I forgot to ask you what your name was when you were filling out the form. That was totally my bad. So if I could ask you guys, whoever filled out the form, to essentially, if you haven't already, like go to the form and it should show all the responses. Just put your name next to it, so that like we can better, well, so that we know who is who, and then we can make the groups as soon as possible, probably later today. So please do that right now. That is a requirement if you did the form.
We'll give
If
you
you
more
haven't done,
flexibility to do that.
yeah,
We just want to make sure everyone gets that done.
yeah.
Oh, my screen's frozen. Sorry.
Yeah, if you haven't filled out the form yet, and you're still if you're still interested in doing it, yes, if you want to go back to the Slack chat, I put in announcements, I think like a week ago, you can fill out the form. But yeah, just put your name next to it so that we know it's you. Because I'm assuming there's people here that wasn't here last time
Yeah, I
and
think.
that didn't fill out the form. Yeah. So okay, I think we can just move on because
Okay.
yeah.
So to talk a little bit about curriculum and what we're looking for in that, we're really trying to emphasize one big thing with our curriculum this semester is that with each workshop we want an end goal to achieve. Like for CS, maybe at the end have the skills to build a game or build a certain primitive game or whatever, or at the end finish a project. For debate, have a mock debate or something like that. With each workshop, what's going to happen is that each workshop will have activities geared towards a certain aspect of reaching that end goal. So each workshop has a specific purpose. For maybe like, let's say CS is the easiest example to talk about. For the first workshop, it would end up being about, a specific coding skill. Second, another coding skill. And at the end, by the third and fourth workshop, implement those skills to actually achieve an end goal. The purpose of doing this is to, I guess, make it more interesting for the students, more activity based, and really focus on the aspect of getting them interested in the topic. The goal isn't necessarily to teach them every single thing about Python or every single thing about Java, but rather just give them the skills needed to actually do something with it, if that makes any sense. Anything else on that, Ashton?
So yeah, I think this is really important, is something that we want to change. Like this is from like a bigger picture of how exactly we're trying to, conduct these workshops. Is that like, just to give you a better picture, is like before, let's just say like we had yeah, could you see on that side? Before we had like a scientific research workshop, right? Science fair workshop, right? It was really, we just set it as a science fair workshop, right? People didn't really see the end goal. Whereas let's say you had a computer science workshop where like the name of the end goal of the workshop was to like build a game. People would be a lot more inclined to go to the workshop in the first place and stick with it because they see this goal at the end that they're working towards, rather than just this whole like very generalized topic. So that's, I think, one of the biggest changes we want to see.
Should I click on this link?
Yeah, click on the link. And just to give you guys an idea of like what like a really good curriculum looks like, this is the entrepreneurship curriculum from the summer workshops. I know a lot of you new workshops like medicine, environmental have created curriculum, but I think it would be effective for you to just and I'll put this link in the chat or send it out later on the Slack if you guys want to see. But I think it's really good for you to kind of like look at this and really understand the type of engaging activities we're talking about. So if you kind of see here, so they have all of, yeah,
My computer
yeah.
is not loading. Give it a second.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Anyway, so they have some notes, but I think if you scroll down to Unit 1, so they have very effectively categorized what they're teaching, what their goals are in this workshop, right? So they put it into units and then they put it into workshops, right? Unit 1 it's very small, but if you go down to workshop 1, they have very specific goals and things that they want to accomplish in this workshop. And next to those goals, they have very specific activities that accompany those. So it's very organized, it's very neat, and it's entirely based upon this activity-based model rather than like a lecture-based model, right? We want to create it as different from the actual like school curriculum lecture-based model as possible, right? So yeah, again, I'll put this in chat or something. But if you can see, there's only four units. It's very small and it's very detailed as to what the activities are.
And at some point, we're probably going to have you guys for each of your workshops draft one of these for, I guess, everyone to see. And then we'll go from there to actually build the curriculum. Okay, let's see. I'm sorry, I've had my computer on like nonstop for the past like 5 days, so it's kind of slow.
In the meantime, I can put this link in the chat.
So it might be better if you if you shared your screen, because this might actually.
Okay. Sure. I'll share my screen. Let me put this link in the chat first, and then I'll start sharing my screen. Chat. Why isn't it showing up? Okay, here we go. Oh, that's the wrong chat. Okay, so that's that, and let me start sharing my screen right now. Sorry, guys. Oh, you have to enable participant screen sharing.
I got it.
So let me know when you've done that. There we go. Okay. So you guys can see it, right? Yeah. Nope. Yes. Uh-oh. What happened? Wait, can you guys hear me? Hello, Alex?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. What is showing up?
I can't see your screen, probably because my computer is just.
Oh,
My
no,
screen
I also
is
can't see anything. It's like
okay.
black.
It's like glitching out. Give me 1 minute. It's like going. It's
Oh,
going
it's white
black.
now.
Now we see
It's
some
white.
your
Okay.
sound devices PDF thing.
Okay, yeah, that's not the right screen. I think it's this one. So do you see it?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, nice. So I'm gonna share. Yeah, it's loading. Yeah, I also have like 50 tabs open right now, so it's going a little bit slow. Okay, so yeah, that's the curriculum. And then activity planning. Yeah, Alex, you want to take the slide?
Yeah, so this is just a kind of a short graphic table showing like the kind of things that we want to include in workshops in terms of activities and what is completely off limits in terms of what we don't want to have. As for good things like group activities, short videos, online games, collaborative tools, guest speakers is a new one. I'll talk a little bit about that later. And then just overall enthusiasm. That's probably the most important thing, because if you're not enthusiastic, I guarantee you're your students will not be. As for things you want to avoid, informative lectures, that's not the goal. We don't want to teach them. We want to inspire them, for lack of a better word, inspire them, get them interested. We want to stay away from like the school-based kind of teaching, and then don't try to overload your workshops with too many activities or keep your workshops too long. I think what we found when we first started before was that we kind of underestimated how long each activity would take. And that led to some workshops being really long. So we want to make sure you guys avoid that if at all possible, because you guys will be new at this as well.
Yes.
Yeah, anything else?
Yeah, again, I think a really important thing here is that we're not trying to teach them everything that we possibly can. We're just trying to give them a very baseline understanding of what's happening and make sure that foundation is enough to sort of inspire them. I think a problem that we had, especially in the fall semester, is that we kept trying to unload so much information on them that it just felt like an extra class to them, which is exactly what we don't want to be. Don't try to overextend yourself, right? It's very simple, but don't try to make it too complex, is what we're saying. And then here, let me give you sort of an example of what that would look like. So this is one of the entrepreneurship um, workshops from last semester. I thought this was really good. So, okay, it's still loading. I don't see any of the slides. Okay. So if we just go through this, right? Look how, like, this is all we're really focusing on for this workshop, right? It's very simple. You're not going into too much depth, and you're not trying to introduce too much to them, right? You have this engaging element here where you're asking like your audience questions, right? It keeps them actually like in the understanding what's going on. If we skip here, right? Obviously this is a bit wordy. And again, like if you look at these following slides, it's a bit wordy. So again, you want to keep your slides colorful, less wordy than this, and less complex. But I think this does a really good job. It's very simple. It's based around an activity, and it has the end goal in mind, right? The end goal is creating an elevator pitch. That's the end goal. So that's what you're kind of looking for in terms of that. So yes, let me go back to previous slide.
And we'll share this as well on the Slack as well, if you guys look at it as a little baseline. This obviously is not a perfect workshop, but it's good enough for us to show you as like a example. Obviously, you guys will have your own like creative freedom in terms of the theme of the slide, or like color schemes, anything like that, as well as just overall your content as well. It's just make sure you guys keep in mind, a good strategy is like, think about if you were a 7th or 8th grader going to this workshop, would you enjoy it? And if your answer to that is no, then you're doing something wrong.
Or so better thing is like, let's say you're hosting the medicine workshop, right? Pretend you didn't know like medicine at all, or you're like weren't initially interested in medicine at all. Then would you go to the workshop and still have fun? Because it's a difference if you're already interested in medicine and you go to the workshop, right? Then you're probably inclined to have more fun. But if you're not interested in medicine at all, or you know little about it, and if you're still having fun, that's a good metric to know if like the workshop is actually good in the first place. And this is just meeting schedule. We want to start meeting with all of the groups and being more hands-on and kind of helping you guys throughout the way. So we're thinking of having just one 30-minute meeting per week, 30 minutes to like 45 minutes for each workshop. And so of course, like before we can do this, we're gonna, based on that form that you guys should have filled out earlier, and like putting your names next to the place where your response was on that Google Sheets, we're gonna create the groups for each workshop, and then we'll put you guys together, and you guys decide a time that works for everyone, and then we will figure out we will schedule a meeting every single week for that workshop. Just like in the summer, we will be using Google Calendar for all our scheduling. That was really effective, and it kept everybody on the same page. So before we can do that, we need to collect everyone's emails on this Google form. So let me just send this on the Slack, or not on the Slack, the
Does
Zoom
it
chat.
ask for name, Ashton? Does it have name and email on there?
I'm pretty sure it does.
Okay, good.
If it does, oh my God, not again. I sent it to the, okay. There you go. So now you can see it. And if you could just fill that out. I will be sending all these links in the Slack if you didn't have a chance to fill it out earlier. So don't worry if you missed it. But yeah, just keep in mind that this is kind of what we want to do, just to help you guys. And then this timeline. So everything is going to be moving like really fast. So now it's already February. So the idea is by the end of February, you'll have at least your first two workshops done, like completely done, right? So right now, after we put you guys in the groups, we're expecting you guys to start building your workshops. So that starts by doing the curriculum. So we're expecting you to have that done by week 2 at most. That should be like the very final date. And then your first two workshops like done by week 4, right? So that's pretty much all it is. But the problem is we need to be marketing and advertising in parallel as you guys are building the workshops, or else we're not going to have anybody coming to the workshops in March. So by the end of week 1, so we're probably going to put you guys in groups today. So by the end of week 1, we probably should have like, you're going to send to us, and we'll give you more information on this later, but we're going to have you guys send to us like an outline of like the cool things about your workshop or stuff that you want highlighted, so we can start putting that into advertising material and start emailing and setting marketing materials out across our district and even beyond that. So yeah, Alex, anything you want to add?
To give you guys a little bit of an idea of how big how not insignificant this is, this summer we actually had over 250 students registered for our workshops for 5 weeks. So this isn't something like, I know this last semester it was a little bit rough with fewer students, but I'm pretty confident that now I think numbers will increase. We'll have a lot more students, and pressure will be on. So we do want you guys, once we form groups, the benchmark is at least 1 meeting a week with your groups. But please take the initiative to meet more often meet as often as you guys need to get these workshops done. Because once those flyers are out, the workshops are happening. Okay. And you need your curriculum done by the time they're happening. So yeah, I hope that's not scary.
Alex and I have finished college applications, and there's pretty much nothing else to do. So that essentially means you can meet with us at any point in the day. Essentially, just text us, and we'll probably be like, okay, yeah, let's like hop on a call and let's work through this. So yeah, again, like feel free to reach out to us. We really want to see this happen. I know you guys really want to see this happen. I know a lot of you guys have like really cool interests, and you want to sort of use that to like inspire the students in this community. I think we can really get this to work.
Oh, one more thing I do want to talk about. Could you go back to the this like the one with like the green, blue, and purple like table?
Yeah.
One thing we didn't really talk about earlier was that there are some workshops that we kind of want to potentially do in person. Those include the ones in May, especially medicine and environment. Environment for sure. I think we have one person here who's actually pitching that to us before. We'll talk later. But just like heads up, like we will also, for those who are interested in those workshops, those might be in person or at least partially in person. How that will likely work is either we'll be doing this at a school or we'll be renting out a room in the library to hold these kind of workshops. And yeah, that's all I had for that.
Yeah. I know this was a lot of information, but we did record this, so you can always go back and watch the video.
It'll be on our YouTube.
Yeah, and always just like ask us any questions if you're like confused about what's going on. We can explain. So yeah, expect the groups to come out by tonight, and I want you guys communicating with each other. and getting a plan. If you want to achieve all of this stuff, getting that plan done. And we will try to meet with you guys as soon as possible. And if you guys want to schedule a meeting earlier, just let us know and we can do so.
And
yeah.
does anyone have any questions before we end off? Please ask or type in the chat or speak anything. Okay. If no one has any questions, that's pretty much the end of the meeting. If something comes to you later, please text us individually or through the Slack or email if you want. I don't care. I check my email obsessively now. So yeah. Okay.
All right.
Talk
See you guys.
later. Bye.
Bye.